Hi everyone, my name is Jen, and welcome to the Book Refuge. Look, I'm wearing some merch today. Isn't that fun? So, as promised on my weekly wrap-up this previous week, I said I was going to have a story time for you about what's been going on, because not all of you have Instagram or TikTok. This is the main place where you see me, which makes sense. This is where my biggest following is at. But I had a bit of a shock this previous Thursday, April 14th, I think it was. As many of you know, in 2021, I had kind of a rocky job situation. I was working for Microsoft, then I was working for this small independent company, and then I was working for this financial company, and I was an executive assistant, administrative assistant, and kind of secretary for this company. I was called into work on Thursday after lunch. It was just a normal Thursday right before the Easter holiday. And I was told that my position was being eliminated from the company. Nothing that I'd done wrong. Please sign this NDA and give up your rights to sue. Here's a severance, and you won't be working here anymore. So I literally cleaned out my drawer at my desk, and I was done. And I mean, obviously I was crying a little because it's overwhelming when the plans you have in place are just wiped out from under your feet like that. And I know I'm not the first person to experience this. Unfortunately, I won't be the last person to experience this. Sorry, my makeup's a little fuzzy. And of course I was stunned, because when you're told there's nothing you did wrong and your position's just being eliminated for reasons, oh, but we'll give you a really good reference. Absolutely. If we ever have an opportunity in the future, we'd love to work with you again. Take this money and go. And I don't have any anger towards them. I'm not like, how dare they, or this was unfair. Like, I mean, it's unfair, but like, that's life. I'm in a pretty well-off position that there's nobody else who counts on me but me. You know, I'm responsible for the bread that gets put on the table, or the coffee in my cup, as we say. Well, nobody else says that but me, I guess. But that doesn't mean it's not overwhelming when, you know, the plans you have laid out just drop. And now it's like, oh, how am I going to take care of myself? I immediately need to find something else. So what I did, though, is I went home to stay with my sister and my brother-in-law and my nieces for a couple days, and just kind of thought about what I wanted to do. And the thing I don't want to do is have to find another corporate job, learn the ropes of that company, and start building my way up it again. I just don't want to. It sounds exhausting. I fully believe that I'm not too good to work any job. Like, I've just been raised to, you put food on the table no matter what, and that's what you do. You don't complain about it. But I'm in a unique position where I have opportunities that other people don't have. And I have a following, and I have support that not everybody else has. And again, I don't have anybody dependent on me. There's just me. So I want to see this as an opportunity. So I'm not spending a lot of time. We're not really talking about the fact that I lost my job or like what's going on with that. I'm going to dive into, how do I make my dreams, how do I make my passion sustainable? How do I make my unemployment self-employment? And I started a series on my TikTok about this already. So if you've seen that, maybe you have a little bit of a head start into what I'm talking about. But right now, what I make off of YouTube could not sustain me. And we've talked about this. Like, I just had my 4-year Q&A where people ask me, would you ever do this full time? And I've said, when I hit 50K, I'll do it full time. You know, that I believe will be sustainable when I get there. And then this happens just a couple weeks later. And it's like, I could hustle to find another job, or I could take that severance that was given to me, which I am very lucky to get. Not every company gives that. Not every company can give that. And what if I take that mixed with savings that I have and I give this a real chance. I give it a chance. I put everything I have into it. I'm able to do it as a full-time job, reading and reviewing and creating content, interacting with you guys, able to do more and see what that is, you know? If I take that 40 hours a week that was put into my job and mix it with the other 40 to 50 hours I already put into this, you know, because I'm always reading and interacting with you guys anyway, what could that be for me? And I'm really interested in giving that a try. So I have my big ideas notebook, one of many notebooks. I have many notebooks. And I have some things that I want to try to do over the next, the next 90 days. So this is going to be a 90-day adventure for me to test it out, because with my savings and the severance, I could technically pay all my bills for like the rest of the year, but it would be tight, and at the end of the year, you know, I would be in trouble as that goes. So I figured I would give myself May, June, and July, and we'll see where we're at. And even in like July, I'll start, you know, or at the end of June, I'll start evaluating like where we're at. Like if the upward trajectory is looking like maybe by September, I'll be, you know, wherever that gap is going to be. Let's see where we get to. So we'll talk about some of the other things I'm planning to do, and then we'll get into what I'm looking to do with Patreon, because no surprise that that needs to be a part of this plan. It just does. It just does when you are a creator on YouTube. You can't fully trust YouTube to support you, because anything could happen that could just be cut off tomorrow and it could be gone. So we'll talk about my hopes for Patreon and where I hope you'll come alongside me and choose to support me. And again, I know I have channel memberships already. We're going to get into that. First, we're going to talk about the other stuff, because I think the Patreon will be the longest discussion, and I'll tell you what my plans are. I've always been very open and honest on here, and I think it's hard for a lot of us creators to want to ask for support when I already feel so blessed to just be able to do this. But I know that there is enough of you who tell me that you're like, I want to support you however I can, and I can't ignore that and just be like, I don't want to ask people for anything, when it could mean being able to do this as a full-time dream years before I thought I could, you know? And if this is a failure, which I don't think in any sense of the word that 90 days doing this will be a complete failure either way, because I can count being a content creator on my resume. My friend, she does resumes for college students. Like, that's what she does. And she's like, you could count this as a 4-year job on your resume. And why haven't you already, you know? And I've been hesitant because the content creating I do is romance. And in the business world, I haven't wanted to call attention to my channel when people are hiring me, because that is stressful to me. But if I decide to take the time from a real job and see if I can make this a self-employment opportunity, it's going to count as a real job. Like, I had to pay taxes this year on what I did last year, so you bet your boots it's a real job. Like, the government wants a cut of it, it's a real job, okay? Just remember that. So, the smaller things that I plan to do to help improve my brand and, you know, get hopefully more eyes on me, because that's one way that will raise what's coming in from YouTube that won't be asking anything of anyone. And that's going to be, I'm working on growing my TikTok, which I've been hesitant to do, but TikTok is a place that publishers and authors are promoting their books. And I've been very hesitant because TikTok is a lot of the cancel culture that I don't want. Like, I don't want that. And especially if you're going to be making content creating your full-time job, like, I'm very terrified of canceling being a possibility, because it can be devastating if someone or the platform turns on you and you could lose everything, right? But as I've always said on my Booktube channel and what I do on my Instagram, like, I'm about the books, and I can be about the books on TikTok as well. So I've already started, like I said, my unemployment diaries are going to be on there. So if you have a TikTok, you can go check that out. So I want to grow my TikTok just by posting regularly and, supporting authors on there. Because if a video goes TikTok on or viral on TikTok, it can change an author's life. And I love being a part of changing authors' lives. So I'm here for it. I want to grow my Instagram, same thing. In the last 6 months, my Instagram has really been picking up, and I really do love taking photos. I'm not the most talented at like flat lays or those kinds of beautiful things, but that's something that I can improve. It's something that I can grow on and get better. So I want to do that. Next, and this one isn't totally for like improving that, but I plan to travel quite a bit in the next 90 days. Part of the thing that also kept me from, I don't want to pursue another job right now. I have 3 trips planned for the summer. They're ones I've been saving up PTO for to do. I have 2 secret trips in June that I don't want to talk about yet. And then I actually have one in August where I will hopefully be going to Alaska with my aunt. She has some things she needs to wrap up there because she lived in Alaska for a while and she needs some help, and so she's going to pay for my ticket and bring me with her. I've always wanted to go to Alaska. I have family that lives up there, so it's like I don't want to worry about needing time off for those things, and other travel. I have friends who don't live that far away, but it's far enough that I haven't been to see them in a while. My best friend Shauna, who I talk about all the time, she lives just across one state from me, and I only see her about once a year. I would like to get out there more. I have a friend who lives in the Twin Cities of Minnesota that I haven't seen her and her husband or their new baby since they moved there a year ago. And relationships are very important to me. So I want to be able to have more coffee dates and plan more things, and this is the opportunity to do that without any guilt or without having to take away from my responsibilities as a job. I want to get better at my reviews. I want to write more effective and helpful reviews for the books that I read. Not necessarily every book that I read, because I do read a lot, but I've already gotten better this year of at least trying to write like 1 or 2 sentences and then the rating and the spice rating. And for books that I review for authors, I want to make sure that I am writing effective, getting across my feelings, and being able to share that with you so you can decide if you want to spend your money on that book. I want to get better at those. I do them very well verbally, I feel like, in my weekly wrap-ups, but it is important to be able to write a good review for Amazon or Goodreads, because that's where a lot of people are going to go and make their decisions. And this one I put an asterisk by because I may not tell if I do, but I did have, when some people who shall remain anonymous were giving me ideas of things to do, erotic short stories came up as an opportunity, because they can be, 40 to 60 pages long. And there are many authors that you wouldn't even know that have pen names that are in no way connected to them, where they have erotic short stories in Kindle Unlimited that still make them money. And, I have a lot of author friends at this point, and a lot of them were, when I was mentioning, like, what do you think about this? They're like, it's a great idea. It's a great way to start writing where you don't have to have a whole story figured out, and you can write the spicy bits, put it out there, and people buy those. They don't even just get them on KU, they will buy them. So that may be something I dive into, but I would probably not tell, at least right away, because it wouldn't be connected with my name or me at all. It would be completely separate. But it's a personal goal to try, because, I always have said, when people ask me if I want to write, I say, well, I don't want to give up my reading time for writing time. Well, again, those 40 hours that I used to sit at a desk working, maybe there's an opportunity for writing now. Who knows? So those are some of the things that are not specifically defined what I will do for them, but they're things that I hope to try in the next 90 days to make time for. So let's dive into my plans for Patreon. So a little bit of background. back when I started my YouTube channel memberships, which was over 2 years ago, I started them the very end of 2019, I think. Or was it the end of 2020? Maybe it was the end of 2020, yeah. I had started those, and when I started those, I'd said I never want to have any content that is like hidden from people besides, you know, like updates on things. But for the most part, that's true. My channel memberships, I have 4 levels. They all, like the highest one I think is $5.99, my Faded Friend level, and everything else is below that. And they really are more about early access, or in the case of the Faded Friends, there is a private live show that we have once a month, and it is so much fun. I love my Faded Friend hangouts. But for the most part, everything that happens in my channel memberships is a way for people to support me and get early access, or be able to have more direct, like, you know, they get like priority response to their comments, things like that. And that's been great because it wasn't anything really extra that I had to provide. It was just getting things out early to them, which they've enjoyed. I mean, I'm almost at 100 channel members, and that's been really great because, yeah, it definitely, I mean, if you guys could see it, like basically a quarter of my income every month is the channel memberships. It's a big chunk. You know, I make a good amount of that compared to what my like ad revenue is. But now that we're at this point, I think a Patreon makes a lot of sense. I've seen many creators do it, and Patreon, what I mean for it to be, is to be exclusive content. So there are going to be quite a few things on my Patreon that are only for people who are patrons. And I'm doing this for 2 reasons. One, these are going to be higher price levels because this is really going to be my income, you know, and the people who are patrons and are supporting me, I know they're, in a way, they're making a sacrifice to do this for me. And when you'll see, I'm not meaning like, oh, it's costing an arm and a leg, but I mean, it's more than just a, you know, we want to support this amount or whatever. It's a commitment to me, you know? And again, I want to be very clear. I don't devalue my channel members at all. You guys mean the world to me. But also a lot of them, like, I posed this question to them separately. Like, this was a question only for channel members about what they would like to see in a patron. I don't expect people to be signed up for both. That is, you know, kind of entitled in my opinion. But I also know that there are a lot of my channel members who are going to want to be patrons too, because for some crazy reason, you guys love me. So anyway, I'm doing a lot of self-flagellating with this. I will just tell you what the tiers are now instead of all this drama. But the point is for me, this was very hard to come to the decision to do this in the past. And now that I'm going to try to make this full time, it seems like this is the time that it needs to happen. So there's currently 4.5 tiers to my Patreon, and I'll tell you what I mean. So the first one is going to be basically a tip jar. I've seen other people do this too. It's a $3 a month commitment, and it's called like the tip jar because people can put in more than the $3 if they want. Like, let's say they want to support me for $10, but they don't want all of the other things. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't, but my point is I've seen people do this because on Patreon you can pick the tier amount, and then you can also like tip a different amount. But either way, the tip jar will be $3. You get a shout out in your video, your name at the end of the credits. That's how it will go. Just like a channel member would get. Then there's the $7 level. So for this level, you will get to suggest a book, and we'll do a poll, and each month I will read the book that gets picked and annotate it, and at the end of the month or whenever I finish annotating it, everybody in that tier and above, because obviously everyone above gets what's below, will go into a drawing, and I will pick a name, and that person will get the book that I annotated. There will also be an exclusive review on Patreon of that book. So it will still get reviewed briefly in my weekly wrap-ups, but because that is special content, you know, like I'm still going to give you a rating and like my overall thoughts, but I will do like a 5 to 10 minute deep dive review on this book that is only for patrons. And then, yeah, you'll have the chance to win the book that I annotated. So I thought that would be fun. Then there is a $10 level, which will be an exclusive videos for Patreon, plus everything below, right? You'll still get to help pick a book, all that stuff. So the way I'm planning to do this is I plan to start doing vlogs where I am vlogging this 90-day experience to start with. I know weekly vlogs are something people ask for, and I feel like they are worth some money to people. Like, they're worth it to have exclusive content just for you. But it's also, I'm still going to be doing weekly wrap-ups. So if you can't be a patron of mine, which again, I completely understand, and I do not expect anyone to do that. This is all wishful thinking that people will want to support me this way. That's what it is. There will be vlogs that I will put up about my daily stuff, things that I'm working on, maybe the stuff that I'm trying to write, and those will go up 2 to 3 times a month. So in total, the people at the $10 level will get those 2 to 3 videos, plus they'll get the, monthly review of whatever book that is. So those are going to be the 3 tiers of the 3, 7, or 10 if you can support at any of those levels. Then I'm going to do a really big level, okay? And I got this idea first from, I'll just say it, from Murphy Napier. When she first started a Patreon to fund her adoption fund, she had this as a tier, and I loved it. I own 20 different books that are annotated by Murphy because I was at this level. So this is going to be a $50 level with only 3 spots, because I will be honored if 3 people sign up for this, but also I'm afraid if 10 people sign up for it, that I'll be in trouble because there'll be a lot. Because what you'll be able to do at this $50 level, you will pick any book you want. Again, keep it romance. Pick any book that you want, either one I've already read or one you want me to read, or one that you want a buddy read with me, whatever you want it to be. So if you want me to annotate a copy of The Takeover for you, I will buy a copy of The Takeover, annotate it for you, and then send it to you. So that's why this level is so high, because whichever book you pick, I have to buy it and ship it. So that's going to be about $20, $25 worth of that, is the name. Just breaking it down. So there'll be 3 of those spots open a month. And also this means that maybe you do this for 1 or 2 months, and then you're like, okay, I've spent enough money on this. And then you can leave the tier if you want, and someone new can sign up. Or you can stay there and end up with, you can be supporting me at that. But I know I loved that as a option, and I wanted to offer it. If nobody signs up, it's okay. There's plenty of other options. And then here's the half level that I mean. So the $50 one, there's 3 spots. That is US only, and I have that written. Then there is a $60 level that there's only 1 spot that is an international option, because I know that I have a lot of international supporters, and it's just how, I know I'm not the only one who has to do this. Murphy had to charge more for shipping for international, and Katie Robert has US only and international options for shipping. But I still wanted there to be an option. I just currently only have 1 slot open. If there ends up being a big clamoring for this, we'll see if we open more spots. Maybe we'll make that a goal, because on Patreon you can make goals and have, once I hit this much a month, I'll open up another slot. So we'll see. So those are the 5 tiers that I'm planning to start with. I never like to overpromise something, so I want to start this at a base kind of level for me, because this is still a lot to take on. Basically, if everything was full, I'm committing to 5 books that I'm not choosing that I'll have to read every month. And sometimes for a mood reader like me, that might be difficult. So I don't want to, I don't want to screw myself over and have you guys be disappointed if I'm I was not in the mood to read this book. Oh no. I want it to be a pleasurable experience for all of us. But I thought it would be fun, because if you can pick any book you want, maybe you want my favorite book with my thoughts in it. Or maybe there's a book that you've been putting in my book rec form for a year, and you're like, I want you to fucking read this book, Jen. And now I will. So anyway, that is the plans for Patreon. My plan is to have that go live on May 1st. So I would love to hear your feedback if you like the options I'm offering, if you are I'm just going to stick with channel memberships, or, I'm not interested at all. Maybe you're interested in channel memberships now, because there are fun things with that. You know, you get early access to videos like this one and others. So anyway, that's what happened. That's my story time. Those are my plans. I'm planning to turn this, you know, unfortunate situation into my dream job. I hope. I can't do that without your help. But no, and I sincerely mean this, and I hope you understand, like, you just watching this video and liking it, you are showing support for me. You are absolutely showing support for me. And I know that always sounds cliche when you're the one watching a video, but I promise you, when you're in the seat of a creator and you see people liking your video and commenting and giving you encouragement, that is worth as much as money in the pocket. Like, it really is, because it tells me that you love what I'm doing, and you watching the video is putting money in my pocket too. So just know that. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm very excited and, you know, a little bit nervous about what the next 90 days will be, but I know I'm going to be okay no matter what, and I'm going to be making content for you guys no matter what. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.